Good evening. Good to have you with us in this edition of the Urban Debate. The dengue outbreak in Uttar Pradesh has now spread to at least 11 districts and has claimed at least 66 lives so far, as per the formal numbers that we've got from a couple of districts. The fever itself, the infection itself, is now being reported from several of the big districts, and not just in western UP but also in the eastern parts now. The epicenter of the outbreak was Firozabad, where at least 52 people have died so far in the last couple of days itself. Nearly 500 children are currently admitted in the Firozabad Medical College, according to the hospital authorities. Out of the 294 samples sent from Firozabad Government Hospital for testing, half of them, 156 of them, have tested positive for dengue. Cases have now spread to Varanasi, Prayagraj, Lucknow, Kanpur, Mathura. Mathura is actually one of the other badly hit districts where large number of cases are being reported. At least 14 deaths had been reported as of Saturday. We don't know how many more since then. So the situation is grim, and in many of these districts, obviously, the government hospitals are overwhelmed with patients thronging in large numbers. Uttar Pradesh is one of those states that is still working on creating a good medical healthcare infrastructure. It's been in shambles for a long time. Every time there is a big breakout, a big disease that grabs the national headlines, that specific aspect is fixed. But overall, if you see, even now, as this breakout takes place, there is a shortage of beds in government hospitals. In most of the places, you'll see more than one patient in each of the beds. Doctors are unavailable in health centers. Some of the health centers themselves have shut down in the districts. Blood banks are completely overwhelmed as cases rise. And the thing with dengue is that the cases jump at such a fast pace and condition deteriorates so quickly that it adds a big amount of pressure on the healthcare infrastructure overnight, just in a couple of days, which is why you need to be prepared in advance. We also know that there is a long wait for the test reports itself, and until the report comes out, the treatment can't start, and that's becoming another big problem for the state of Uttar Pradesh.
क्या बता रहे हैं आपको, और आपकी बच्ची जो एडमिट है, कैसी हालत है उनकी?
अभी हालत में सुधार है उसका, लेकिन उसका क्या है कि कल 1 बजे रात को इन्हें ब्लड लिया था, हैं? अभी रिपोर्ट सबका आ गया। हम रिपोर्ट लेने आए, कम से कम 10 बार आए हैं, तो इसी लाइन में भी आए, और वहाँ अभी वो बोल रहे थे ना भाई साहब, सबका नाम ले लेके, तो वहाँ भी रिपोर्ट नहीं आया अपना। अभी यहाँ चेक करवाया कंप्यूटर में, तो बोल रहे हैं आपका खून जम गया है।
खून जम गया?
हाँ, खून जम गया है, वो आपका खून खराब हो गया है। अब दोबारा सैंपल लेना पड़ेगा और तब आपकी रिपोर्ट आएगी। अभी फिर से हो गए, तो अभी बच्चे को खून नहीं है, बाहर से चढ़वा रहे हैं, तो बार बार निकाल रहे हो, निकल ही नहीं रहा है खून। 3 बार सीजी ऐसा अंदर डाल देते हैं, फिर देखते हैं सब मल के कि आ रहा है खून कि नहीं आ रहा है, तो भाई बच्चे परेशान हो रहे हैं।
ये स्थिति सिर्फ आपके साथ है, बाकी लोगों को भी इसी तरीके का सामना करना?
हाँ, मेरे बाजू वाले में जो है उनका भी ऐसा ही हुआ है। हाँ, वो उनका भी खून जम गया है, तो इसके लिए मैं उनको आया था बोलने कि ऐसा मत करो। 4 दिन हो गया, हालांकि सुधार है मेरे बच्चे को, लेकिन एकदम से रिपोर्ट नहीं आएगी तो फिर डॉक्टर को क्या दिखाएंगे कि सुधार हुआ कि नहीं हुआ है। अब फिर दोबारा अभी सैंपल दे के आया हूँ, अब जम जाए और चाहे फिर जो हो जाए, अब रिपोर्ट तो आ ही नहीं रही है।
This, of course, is inside the city of Firozabad, the government hospital, one of the biggest, the epicenter of all of the dengue cases that have been reported in the last 4 days. But even in the outskirts, the story is terrible. Anand Nagar shows an absolutely heartbreaking situation. The living conditions of the villagers there show you really why the place itself is so prone to diseases. Stagnant water in the area is a breeding ground for mosquitoes. The people in the area say each family has a dengue case. Here's a report.
आपके बच्चे को अभी कहाँ एडमिट कराया आपने, क्या हालत है उनकी?
माया देवी। हालत तो सही है, थोड़ा पेट में दर्द बता रहे हैं अभी।
सरकारी अस्पताल में एडमिट है, प्राइवेट में एडमिट है, कितना खर्चा हो रहा है?
प्राइवेट है, 5,000 को रोज को खर्चा है।
5,000 रुपये
हाँ हाँ, हर रोज को खर्चा है।
क्या कह रहे हैं वहाँ पे पहले पैसे जमा करने को कह रहे हैं, क्या है सरकारी स्थिति, क्या है सरकारी अस्पताल में?
सरकारी अस्पताल में गए तो वहाँ कोई ट्रीटमेंट हुआ था नहीं, और फिर दो 2-2:30 बजे तक बैठे रहे। फिर हम मनते भागे, फाइल आए कुछ सब बना के रख ली थी, कब तुम बैठो अभी डॉक्टर आ रहे जो आ रहे हैं, वहाँ कोई नहीं आया। वहाँ से हम बच्चा को लेके भागे आए, बच्चा हमारा ज़्यादा परेशान था।
यहाँ पर क्या ये जो नाली हम देख रहे हैं, खुली नाली है, थोड़ा सा कचरा भी बाहर आ गया, सफाई वगैरह करते हैं ये?
ना कर तो सफाई का चूना करते गए, हम पे आप खुद लेकर आते हैं। हमारी गली में तो कोई आतो ही ना है बिल्कुल। और
क्या बाकी जो घर हैं यहाँ करीब करीब सभी जगहों पे स्थिति, सभी के घरों में डेंगू
घर में डेंगू सभी के घर में फैलो है, कोई ऐसा ना है सो सही हो, सब परेशान है। और गरीब आदमी है, कहाँ से पैसा लामे, कोई सरकार द्वारा कछु मदद ना मिल रही कैसी हो।
Afida, if I can also speak to people who have lost their relatives, because this is a family who actually lost a 14-year-old due to dengue, and we'll try and speak to them also. किस तरीके से वहाँ जब ट्रीटमेंट आपने कराया, बहुत मशक्क़त हुई, आयुष्मान कार्ड था आपके पास, फिर भी इलाज नहीं हो पाया, क्या हुआ था?
हमारे बच्चे को डेंगू हुआ था। 30 तारीख को योगी जी आए थे, तीनों बच्चे मैंने सरकारी अस्पताल में भर्ती कराए 100 सैया बेड पर। प्रार्थना है सरकार से कि जो अधिकारी जो है, जब तक शासन के लोग आते हैं उसी टाइम इलाज करते, उसके बाद इलाज उसी समय कर दिया जाता। जैसे ही वो पीठ फेरते यहाँ से जाते उस समय इलाज बिल्कुल बंद कर दिया जाता है। इस कारण लापरवाही से बच्चों की मौत होती है। हमारे बच्चे की तो मौत हो ही चुकी है, लेकिन बाकी जो अस्पताल में भर्ती हैं उनके साथ न्याय अच्छा होना चाहिए और इलाज भी उनका होना चाहिए। हमारा चला गया तो चला जाने से, लेकिन दूसरे के बच्चे की जान नहीं जानी चाहिए।
This is a disease that comes about in specific seasons. This is a disease that comes about in filth, in garbage, in stagnant water, most importantly. And when it does, it really takes the entire place by a storm. While dengue outbreaks do happen in our country repeatedly, year after year, the big question is, shouldn't the states be better prepared for such a situation? Even after having gone through a pandemic itself for the last 1.5 years, why are we still struggling to this extent? Let's say good evening to Bhaskar Ghosh of the BJP, Dr. Brian Vowell, epidemiologist for John Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, Dr. Chandrakant Lahiriya, vaccine and public policy and health systems expert, joins me this evening. Dr. Ved Prakash, Chair of Department for Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine at King George's Medical University in Uttar Pradesh, and Dr. SNS Yadav, former CMO for Lucknow, who also joins us this evening. I want to start off with Dr. Lahiriya. Dr. Lahiriya, let's try and put this in perspective. You know, it started off with a problem about almost a week ago in Firozabad. The Chief Minister himself landed up at that place, but it's very quickly spread across the state. What should be an appropriate response by the state, and where is it that we are failing?
So we know that in this pandemic, 80% of the health needs could have been fulfilled by public health interventions, contact tracing, testing, etc. Only 20% of the people require medical care and some form of medical care. Yet, what we are hearing for many months, that this pandemic has medicalized healthcare system. People are demanding for intensive care unit beds. The people are demanding for hospitals, but no attention is being given to public health intervention, strengthening primary healthcare services, strengthening contact tracing or disease surveillance system. So what is happening in Uttar Pradesh, the dengue outbreak, a disease which can be easily prevented if we have a stronger public health system, if we can give advice to the people, if the health staff can go to the communities and prevent the mosquito breeding, this can be easily prevented. But what has happened that we have heard many talk about strengthening public health, strengthening disease surveillance system, but barely a few states have taken enough interventions. And if we quickly forget that pandemic is gone, or we have really fought well with the pandemic, while in reality, nothing much has changed on the ground for the people, this kind of situation would arise. I think we heard the person speaking the pain of that individual, that if governments, and it's not about one government, today it's happening in Uttar Pradesh, tomorrow it can happen in any other state, unless we address the fundamental factors, strengthening surveillance system to identify various diseases where they are emerging, strengthening that health staff go to the community, deliver those key messages to them. We can address many of these challenges. If we keep focusing upon COVID-19 ICU beds and other aspects, which actually are not that a big problem. If we can address public health, strengthen that infrastructure, that will be useful for COVID-19, but also prevent the disease conditions. So the final point is that we are still thinking in terms of medicalized care system, strengthening hospitals, strengthening ICUs, what is required, strengthening primary healthcare facilities, what is required, community participation, what is required, public health workforce which can go and engage with the community, and that will prevent these deaths which are happening now.
Yes, one very important part that you highlighted is strengthening primary healthcare facilities, and no matter how much we do raise it and speak about it, we actually don't see that taking place on ground. Even now, if you go and see the largest vacancies for the medical staff will exist in the primary healthcare facilities if they are functional in these smaller districts at all, whether it's in Uttar Pradesh or Bihar and several other states of our country. Dr. Ved Prakash, is that one of the key reasons why we are struggling, or is this outbreak, something that we could have prevented or at least limited in its impact?
Yeah, definitely, Tanvi. As you know, the season of the rainy season is the period where the vector-borne diseases are so common. So you know about this viral fever, which is caused by dengue fever. It is common because of the mosquito. The breeding is so common in areas where there is water logging. So we have to think about the sanitation and drive for the water logging areas. So we have to take care and we have to prevent from the mosquitoes and other vectors in this season. So Tanvi, we have to take care of, like, we have to cover all the arms and legs of the children and all, wear light colored clothes, avoid traveling to the endemic areas nowadays, and we have to use mosquito repellents also, and fix meshes on windows or doors to keep the mosquitoes out. And we should also use the mosquito nets. And what the government has to take care is through the yearly calendar of the disease, we have to think in advance about the preventive measures. So the Nagar Nigam and other local bodies have to take care of these aspects, especially where the waterlogging is there. And we have to take care in the houses about the any water, like in coolers or in the roof. There are some tires or some other pans are there where the water is there and the mosquito breeding is there. Also, the government has to take care of the anti-larva and other anti-mosquito treatments. Yes, Tanvi. So
you're absolutely right. These are the steps which we're supposed to take, but I am not too sure how much of this is actually taking place on ground. Dispose solid waste, clean and cover your water containers. The biggest source of that, one of the biggest issues in North India states, for example, will be the water coolers, with the stagnant water being stored in these coolers as one of them. Our reporter who's traveling from Firozabad to Agra and several other districts in Uttar Pradesh right now, in fact, sent us visuals and absolute filth, and children, families sitting in that kind of filth. Open drains, people living right above these kind of open drains. These are some of the systems that need to be fixed, and this is the part of the rural healthcare that we are absolutely, rural health, even urban healthcare, that we are absolutely not looking in states like Uttar Pradesh. Dr. Brian Wall, good evening to you. You've been researching specifically, I understand, on dengue and have spent now considerable time in that state. What are your own observations about where is it that this state seems to be failing? One would assume that after a pandemic hits us, at least, we wake up and we fix some of these infrastructure issues.
Hi, Tanvi. Thank you for having me tonight. And good evening. So dengue is a vector-borne disease that is seasonal in nature, meaning that it's around this time of year, after the monsoons or during the monsoons, that we tend to see an increase in dengue cases overall. The severity of these cases is concerning, and I think we need to better understand what's driving both the spread as well as the severity. I'd like to think about it more maybe optimistically, and I think focus on how the state, which has strengthened its laboratory infrastructure over the last year and a half, which has strengthened its surveillance efforts through contact tracing and otherwise, as Dr. Chandrakant was mentioning earlier, now put those systems to use in order to address the ongoing epidemic of dengue, which is now affecting the state. We, of course, as you've mentioned, need to address standing water, need to address even within the household, sources of the dengue larvae as well. And of course, surveillance of which serotypes of dengue are currently circulating so we can better understand the epidemiology of this current epidemic overall.
Yeah, to your mind, so far, basis what we have, and of course, like you and Dr. Leria pointed out, a lot more study is required into this kind of the vector itself. But what is causing a large number of serious cases? In many cases, most of them have required hospitalization or even the need of oxygen.
So the dengue virus is unique in the sense that the first time you're infected, there's 4 different serotypes or 4 different strains of dengue. The first time you're exposed to the one of those serotypes, the likelihood of a severe infection is less. It's a unique pathogen in the sense that once you've been infected with the first serotype, the immune response is specific enough to prevent disease for at least a little while, but then afterward, not strong enough to prevent disease, but it is strong enough to cause vascular damage, which can in turn cause hemorrhaging and fluid accumulation. This is a process known as antibody-dependent enhancement of infection, which means that on subsequent infections, there's a higher likelihood of severe disease known as dengue hemorrhagic fever or dengue shock syndrome. And so it could be that what we are seeing in this case, of course, we need more surveillance in order to better understand the dynamics, but it could be that these subsequent infections are now leading to more severe cases and dengue hemorrhagic fever and dengue shock syndrome.
Okay, before I go to our other 2 panelists, Dr. Leria, would you want to add to this insight as well, since you also raised this earlier?
So what we need to remember that dengue is endemic in many parts of the country. Many states are endemic. But what would make a difference whether the disease becomes outbreak or not is a well-functioning public health surveillance system. As an example, today we are seeing a large number of cases being reported from a number of districts in Uttar Pradesh. If we had a better functioning disease surveillance system, then even the earliest case would have been identified in the beginning. Then the public health intervention would have started immediately, well before this number of cases would have reached, and we could have prevented outbreaks. So what we need to remember that the mosquito is there, the virus, dengue virus is circulating or endemic in Indian setting, but we can actually, through a well-functioning public health system, which can identify cases, we can actually prevent outbreaks. So we cannot avoid each and every case, but we can prevent outbreak. And if we identify them early, we have a system which can treat them well. We can prevent death. So that is what is the we need to be focusing upon. Unfortunately, when a health system is weak, only when the number of cases increases, when the hospital and cities are affected one after another, we pick them up. And by the time we pick up, hospitals are overwhelmed and the many deaths happen which can be prevented. And that's a public health tragedy.
Yes, and that happens because the health systems, existing health systems are weak. We've not even got them to a level from where we can put out a better response system. Dr. Yadav, thank you for being with us. You have great amount of experience in this as well. We've seen this time that the government has gotten into an action much sooner than maybe earlier. I don't know for what reasons, but several doctors have been suspended. One CMO has been shunted out. The Chief Minister himself is issuing direct directions. Now, how is one supposed to read it? Is there some amount of lackadaisical approach on ground as well, which is now being exposed by the government?
Definitely, it's an endemic disease. Now, in Uttar Pradesh, outbreaks has been offered in many districts. So, hello.
Yes, go ahead, please. We can see you.
I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Many outbreaks occurs in Uttar Pradesh. The main reason is health system of the UP is definitely very, very strong. And everybody was busy in this pandemic area of the COVID, in the prevention, in the vaccination, in the children's, for the preparation of the third wave. Nobody bothered for the dengue outbreak. Usually in every years, according to my experience, I have remained chief medical officer of the Lucknow for the last 5 years, approximately 5 years. Every year in the month of May, we start the preparation for this winter season preventable diseases like diarrhea, dengue, typhoid, fever, chikungunya. So in the month of May, in the June, we start full preparation. Only, I want to say only awareness is the prevention of this disease. We have given the lot of awareness companion to among the public. For the activities was lacking this year because dengue mosquito is born in the pure water, in the clean water. And this year, I want to say one thing more. This is just like a cyclical disease. According to our experience, every 3rd year, dengue endemic occurs. Dengue endemic outbreaks occurs every 3rd year. So this was expected and it should be prevented. It can be prevented. But all health system was busy in vaccination, pediatric COVID. So this was slightly lacking there. And when outbreaks occurred, then punishing anybody is no solution. We have to keep the strengthening. Health workers awareness. Health workers should go house to house survey. जहाँ हो वहीं कैच कर लीजिए बीमारी को. आसपास के घरों में मॉस्किटो का ये सब का छिड़काव करिए, जागरूकता फैलाइए. अभी my previous speakers have already spoken about how it can be prevented. So many persons used to put water for kettles, for birds, cooler in water, frequent change of the cooler in the water. Now cooler should be removed. There is a sufficient act also for this Nagar Nigam Acts. Nigam Acts. So public should be punished. First give the awareness. If they are not accepting these things, orders, they should be punished. There is a definite law and order also. And mosquito repellent and all these things, larvicidal should be sprayed. Right. Mosquito should be sprayed. This type of the activities should go on. Now that is the only thing which can be prevented. This may happen up to the Diwali according to our experience. So, Dr. Yadav, let me ask you this. For Uttar Pradesh, largely, because, every part of India also has slightly different weather cycles and climate cycles and, when monsoon arrives or retreats, largely, what are the
challenging months for Uttar Pradesh. We are now seeing this outbreak take place in September. Is it usually in July or August? Did we let our guard down after those initial months?
Definitely, it is endemic season is from June to October last or November first week. But in this year, rain also started. You have already seen the rain also started in May, June, July, August, September, and still monsoon has not gone. Still there is frequent sporadic rains.
Yes.
What happens? According to the frequent sporadic rains, there is definitely waterlogged. Conditions of the roads are not very good. They have become गड्ढा, जगह-जगह गड्ढा बन गए. तो water filling हो जाती. For mosquito breeding, it is only 24 hours which takes to breed. So all the breeding sites should be treated by whatever the chemical, whatever the larvicidal, and in such a way we can only go to the control of the disease. And the person who has got disease, they should put under the mosquito net so they can't spread diseases one person to another person. In the hospital, there is also mosquito nets.
Yes.
So in this way, public health awareness, surveillance, treatment should be prevented.
Yes, so it's not just about what the treatment that has to be provided. Obviously, that's a big part. But when you are already short-staffed and you're short-staffed at every level, from primary healthcare to district levels and tertiary and the biggest of the hospitals, then that's a challenge. Preventive care is much more important. Spreading awareness is much more important. Bhaskar Ghosh, good evening to you, and thank you for patiently waiting by. Fact of the matter is, Bhaskar Ghosh, the outbreak is taking place in September. The season for this begins a couple of months earlier. Why is it that we are still struggling so much with an appropriate response?
Let me tell you, I've just heard my honorable panels and all of mostly the medical professions, and they are giving very technical replies and prevention methods. Let me give an overall picture of what has been done by the government so far. See, in the last budget, the government has given a huge budget for the health infrastructure creating and diagnostic center creating. For example, about 12,242 crores have been given for strengthening the medical and health infrastructures. 5,085 crores have been provided for construction of medical colleges, and 7,157 crores for the primary healthcare facilities, and 5,395 crores for the Rashtriya Gramin Swasth Mission, and 1,300 crores for the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, 142 crores for the Ayushman Bharat Mukhyamantri Jan Yojana. So all these things together is creating a huge impact in this combating this present situations. And I'm really sorry to say that it's not only dengue here; it is dengue with leptospirosis and the scrub typhus. So these three kind of different disease are there, which is all vector disease and vector-borne disease. And at the same time, if I give an example, that out of 185 samples sent it to ICMR, 73 dengue, 47 leptospirosis, and 28 scrub typhus, and 1 is Japanese encephalitis. So there is apart from now the COVID times are going on, and apart from that, they use pressure in the government systems.
No, so let me ask you this, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh. I agree with what you're saying. There are multiple other diseases that have come, all of them seasonal, all of them adding to the pressure, all of them highly serious right now, more and more cases, and we're losing lives. I don't even know, unlike several other channels where various numbers are being reported on how many people are dead. We're only going as per the official figures, largely from 2 districts, Firozabad and Mathura. The others we've not even factored in, even though this this outbreak is now being reported from 11 other districts. My simple question to you is, you quoted to me what was announced as part of the budget in February 2021, when I am assuming when the state announced its budget for this year. Can you tell me how much of it was used? There is no point in making these announcements about thousands of crores, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, if they've not been disbursed on ground and used, because we just heard from the former CMO. Yeah, just 1 minute. We've just heard from the former CMO of Lucknow that we were not really prepared, maybe for various reasons, including the fact that we were too busy with vaccination end the COVID pandemic, but we were not prepared for this.
Now, let me come to the point that I'm giving a macro picture now. Let me give the macro pictures. If 400 patients was treated in Government Medical College Firozabad, beds have been increased in Mathura Medical College. 12 doctors from other districts were sent to the Firozabad. Additional blood donation camps and the platelet units from Agra, Kanpur, and Lucknow was organized. And as per the Additional Chief Secretary Amit Mohan Prasad, senior officials were sent to 75 districts, rushed to 75 districts. And all these things, what
this is only happening, Mr. Ghosh. This is only happening, Mr. Ghosh, after the outbreak, after UP Chief Minister himself went rushing last Monday, Tuesday to Firozabad, and then all of this was ordered. This has nothing to do with the thousands of crores that you claim or hundreds of crores that you claim have been slated for healthcare and boosting healthcare in the budget. I'm asking you what happened. I'm asking you what has happened in the state before 1st of September when it comes to dengue preparation. How much of awareness spread was done? How many of these open drains were closed? How many of these areas in each district were actually cleaned up? Waterlogged drains were cleaned up. People were informed about the fact that this is dengue season. These are the 5 things that you need to do. I'm asking you how much of that was done before 1st of September?
Yeah, let me answer this question point blank. This is the first thing, the allocation of funds, and then the respective municipal corporations and Nagar Nigams, they are responsible for implementing all these things on day-to-day basis, month-to-month basis. And they have done to the best of their capabilities. In spite of that, you know, there's a huge, UP is a huge state. And there could be some lacunas, I understand. There could be some lacunas for which this particular dengue has broke out. And immediately the Yogi ji himself, along with his entire government machinery, has been firefighting 24 hours and tried to improve the situation, which is now under control. And even from the center, ICMR is now
people, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, you are telling me that 66 people have died, and I should be just settled with the fact. My name is Tanvi, and my question to you is: 66 people have died, and there are no answers right now from the government on what were the steps taken to improve the healthcare infrastructure this time around for a dengue outbreak or any of the other diseases that come along in this season. Or did we forget about all of that because of COVID?
My due apologies for just ignoring the names. I'm sorry for that. So what I mean to say that every date is painful. Every date is really a loss to the country, a loss to society. But out of 400 patients has now been treated in the government hospitals. Like in COVID also, you always give a percentage or what is the recovery rates. I understand that there is patient being treated, recovery rates are improving because the infrastructure is supporting them and the doctors are attaining them. More and more doctors and the bureaucrats are being positioned at different responsible units or posts. So things are improving. And it is, again, I'm saying it is very painful that every death is a loss to the state, loss to the nation, loss to the family. I'm sorry for that. But things are now being controlled and improving day by day. That's what my point was.
In 2015, there were 9 deaths reported in Uttar Pradesh because of dengue. In 2016, it went up to 42 deaths. 2017, 28.
How many patients?
And 2018, 4 deaths. 2019, 26 deaths. 2020, 6 deaths. 2021, we are already looking at 66 and counting. Clearly, this time something is different, which requires a much larger, deeper investigation into what's gone wrong. Like one of our experts were pointing out, yes, there are cycles. There will always be once in 3 to 4 years where you will see this disease peak with a large number of cases, and then it comes under control. The fact of the matter is, irrespective, it is the government's responsibility, the state's responsibility every year to do the very basics. There is nothing new or earth-shattering about dengue and how it spread. It's the same story every year. There is absolutely no reason why we should be caught off guard to this extent. But I want to talk about the larger issue, because it all boils down to this larger issue, Dr. Chandrakant Lahiriya, which is about the state of affairs with healthcare infrastructure in our country, which one would have hoped would have changed, or at least some effort would have been made after the pandemic of COVID hit us. Look at the state of affairs for doctors. 23% of doctor posts in primary healthcare centers is vacant. 30% of the pediatrician posts required lying not sanctioned. Requirement is there, it's not been sanctioned. 24% of the nursing staff positions vacant. Lab technicians, 65% shortage of lab technicians in rural primary healthcare centers. How do we fix this, Dr. Lahiriya? From getting the report to giving blood to treatment, we don't have people.
I think, Tanvi, you have raised a very pertinent issue, and which is core to the well-functioning healthcare system, human resources. So I would like to go back to what Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh was talking about, a few thousand crores being allocated to health in the state of Uttar Pradesh. But if we look at those numbers for a state of size of Uttar Pradesh, 22 crore, 1,000 crore allocation essentially means around 50 rupee per person in the state. While we know that through National Health Accounts of India, and thus the Government of India estimates that per capita spending on health in India is around 4,000 rupee per person per year, while governments usually spend around 500 rupee per person per year. Essentially, a large part of money come from out of pocket, from the pocket of the people, and people get poor. That's one. Second way to look at it is we should not be talking in the absolute terms. If country is big or state is big in the size, 1,000 crore would not mean much. One of the key parameters of measuring how a state is performing on health finance allocation or funding for health is that what proportion of government budget is allocated for health. India's national health policy has said that 8% of state budget or state expenditure should be allocated for health. But majority of Indian states, including Uttar Pradesh, allocate only 4.5% of the state budget. And health policy has said that this should be increased to 8%, but in the last 15 years, like for which data is available, from year 2001 and to financial year 2015-16, the state governments have barely increased the allocation in terms of state expenditure. So the lack of funding from government is the key factor that even the health workforce is not there. That's one. Second is that this workforce is very skewed in the sense that this is distributed least where more are needed. So the primary health centers are existing, but they ideally should be one for every 25,000 to 30,000 population, but one is available for 50,000 population. Then if there is a facility, then health workforce is not there. Most of the staff is posted in urban area. So there are many challenges which fundamentally need to be addressed by system thinking in the system. System thinking means, let me say 6 points. One is the governance and leadership should categorically prioritize health. Second is that finances should be allocated to state. Third, health workforce should be filled. All the vacancies need to be filled. Fourth is that we need to have a good quality health information system. So when we know that this is a 6 dengue death reported, they are always underreported. And that's true for all states, but the underreporting highest in some of the North Indian states. Then fifth thing is that medicines and diagnostics should be available. Most of the time there is a building, but medicines and diagnostics are not available. So why people should go to government facility? And finally, that it's not about making facility. All of these components should be together, and doctors should be available in a functioning facility which supply medicine. Then only it will come. There is a reality that much of the rural healthcare facility, not only in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, or many other Indian states, is poor. And unless political prioritization is given, unless the finances are allocated, unless we learn from this challenge now, like we were talking in the time of COVID-19 pandemic, when first and second wave, that we will strengthen health system. But when we are witnessing dengue epidemic now, it is a proof that we have not learned. And I'm really disappointed. I think if we do not learn even from this epidemic, that will be really sad. So we need to learn from each challenge, but we are not doing so.
Okay, you're absolutely right. And thank you for highlighting some of those, larger issues that need to be looked into. Let me take that up and go across to Dr. Ved Prakash. Dr. Ved Prakash, let's look at what happened when it came to Japanese encephalitis in Uttar Pradesh. It was a huge story a few years ago. In fact, for consecutive years, Uttar Pradesh was in the headlines because of the large number of casualties and the large number of cases of Japanese encephalitis. But the government, year after year, did work on that. Various district authorities did work on resolving this to the point where we've seen a drop in cases. So where there is a will, there is a way to be prepared to tackle, to create infrastructure, to create awareness, to battle one disease. Then why did we fail this time with dengue?
Yeah, Tanvi, that is true, because the development of the cities in India needs a visionary plan. The patchwork certainly will not do the solve the purpose. So we have to plan the things. We have to plan the cities like with the vision, and abroad we have to. This is the time now. We have to think about the holistic approach and the 360 degree development of the cities, with the planning, with the planned development, with the sanitation, with the drainage facilities, with the all sort of the measures has to be taken for the development. Otherwise, these things, this is the now endemic in rainy season. It is always in monsoon weather. So this is, we have to work in advance for these facilities. Like we have to make a calendar for the year, and we have to take all the measures in advance, Tanvi. So this is the need of power. And
yes, because 1 year Japanese encephalitis, 2 years of COVID pandemic, we are at a situation where every state is preparing and anticipating a third wave, which means that already your healthcare services need to be at an optimum level on high alert. But in Uttar Pradesh, they've been instead hit by dengue. And that has now taken all the attention. All the COVID wards, all the special facilities, the pediatric facilities that had been set up in anticipation of a third wave are being used here. Governments can't work like that, especially in healthcare. You cannot work, with just one track mind where you only focus on this one specific thing and forget everything else. Yes, we are living in pandemic times. Yes, COVID is a big threat. It is still here. But there are these other big problems that come every year which we cannot afford to forget. We cannot afford to forget that for states like Uttar Pradesh, there are these diseases in Delhi, in Madhya Pradesh, in Bihar. These diseases, there are seasonal diseases, seasonal outbreaks that do take place. And all it requires is a little bit of preparation, a little bit of awareness, a little bit of insistence of every district official, every district magistrate or collector, on insisting that in their district, drains are cleaned up, drains are covered. People are reminded that they cannot leave stagnant water. Areas are cleaned up, garbage is removed. Education awareness campaigns are done to tell people about this vector-borne disease. Staff is prepared. All the facilities are prepared. Blood banks are ready. Labs are well equipped to take on a load or high number of test reports when they come along. If the labs crumble again, the blood banks have long queues and the hospitals are overburdened, overflowing with people and their families, and there is utter chaos again, then what have we learned? Like Dr. Ved Prakash said, patchwork cannot be the solution. A good government needs to have a longer term vision of fixing this problem. This government is at the end of its 5-year term and we are still staring at these problems. Thank you for joining us on this conversation.